Welcome back to our special two-part recap of the 2022 Great American Beer Fest. This is episode 94 of the Malting Hour.
And we're back!
We are back. What a great interview that was.
That thing she said.
That one thing about the fest.
No, she did.
She was
did
not
put us
wrong.
onto some good beers for real, but we didn't get to them until Saturday, or at least the one I'm thinking.
She
of.
did
That's
mention a beer at the Wish You Were Here that Saturday morning I went looking for it real quick, but I couldn't see it in the line, so I just went up and grabbed something random. I don't even know what I grabbed. But there was a pickle beer.
Yeah, from the
think
Steel.
she
From
talked
the
about
Steel, which is Illinois.
Yeah, okay.
Pickling spice.
Yeah.
Goza, I think it was.
Yes. Yep.
Oh man, I totally forgot all about that. I would have sought out for it. Instead, so it sucks about this because I didn't check these in. I don't really have a point of reference, even though this was the last day. I feel like I had better head of my shoulders on Friday, and
Fourth and
thanks,
goal.
Dan. I can see that we've got the Bears game on. They're gonna lose. I'm calling it right now. It's Monday. The Bears have lost. So I had a better head of my shoulders on Friday, remembering what beers I tried. Saturday, within the first hour, it felt like we were running a fucking marathon, which is funny because
I remember you taking a second and being like, I have to stop for a little
well,
bit.
it's funny, Dan, because I thought about it and I'm like, I was with you the entire time and we had sampled the same amount of beers. Now, maybe I had tried more barrel-aged beers, but I think we sampled the same amount of beers. But within that time, overall, I ended up, the entire weekend, I sampled 88 different beers, which is...
And does that include like the brunch and like the award ceremony and all that?
No, it doesn't. Man, the Bears are awful.
He was going to catch it. He caught it.
He's not in the end zone. Sorry. Yeah, that does not include those beers. I'm talking about at the festival, 88 beers sampled, which outside of the festival, I mean, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 beers. 9 beers outside of the festival. That include 10 beers out of the festival. I almost had 100 beers that weekend. That's why I've been drinking all week until today.
And by weekend, you mean 2 days.
That was my weekend. All right. So the first place we stopped at, because we were trying to, I don't remember what we were trying to get from them, but we stopped at Monday Night Brewing.
Yeah,
What was the beer we were trying to get?
We were trying to get. Sorry, I was just watching Justin Fields whining on the field. We were trying to get the sour beer. It is called Imaginary Grace, which was a very good beer.
That's what we went.
That was the one that Rachel.
That's the one we ended up getting, right? Okay.
Yeah. So Rachel told us about it, and we went over there immediately, and it was gone. So that's another like lambic goose style, 100% spontaneously fermented, inoculated in a cool ship, and they dub it the Crunk Ship because they're out of Atlanta. Peace up, A-Town down. Bow, 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 bow. Oh, sorry.
That was good.
Yeah, delicious beer.
So you guys went there. First place I went to was Loveland, and the only reason I stopped there was because in the elevator,
You tried that too.
the blackberry. Oh, I might have, but
We got it.
I didn't try any Loveland.
No, I meant we brought back the Imaginary Grace 2 brand.
Oh,
yeah. So
sorry.
so I did try it, which was good. But the blackberry lemon bar I tried from Loveland, and I was
yes.
I was pleasantly surprised because somebody in the
If I'm not mistaken, that was another one that Rachel suggested. No? Or was that Craig?
It was
Craig.
an older couple.
Elevator.
Older couple in the elevator.
Dan was really good about it. Every time we were in the
that's
elevator,
right.
he was like, "We at the fest?" I said, "Yeah." What'd you like? And the woman said there was. I think she said raspberry. There was a raspberry lemon bar, but I saw a blackberry lemon bar, and I was like, "I'm trying it," and it tasted like candy, and it was good. So,
Yeah, I wish I would have tried that. That sounded pretty good.
That was I had saw somebody recommend like asking the volunteers who were pouring what their favorite stuff was, and so anytime I saw anybody who looked like they would have been at the fest, I was like, "What'd you have? What'd you like?" Just to see what people were saying.
So one thing I skipped over was the potatoes at the hotel. We left it on a cliffhanger. I said which one was better. Gotta say, the potatoes, as far as texture, were better at the hotel, but the seasoning at the brunch was better. Also, that was a great, again, Brandon, good choice. Good choice in the hotel. What?
Flip it.
The seasoning on the potatoes at the hotel were better.
Yeah.
Was it? Is that the case?
The ones that were like, they
You're
had like
right.
the cumin and
You're
stuff
right.
on
No,
it.
yeah, you're right.
The ones at the brunch were like crispier,
Yes.
but they were just
Thank
like
you, Dan.
salted.
Thank you. Like I said, Saturday's a little fuzzy for me. The other thing we skipped right over was that we got to see the fucking awards.
Yeah.
So that was cool. It was something we didn't know we were going to. Oh, jeez. Hold on. Do you guys hear me? Yeah. Sorry.
We
Still there?
lost you. Yeah, so we went to the awards
Okay, thank
and the award ceremony. Yeah, we can hear you now. We did breakfast at the hotel, free breakfast. Again, shout out to Brandon for hooking us up with a
Yes.
dope hotel across the street. Free breakfast, delicious omelets, delicious Cholula packets. But so we went to the award ceremony and they had breakfast laid out. Like we didn't even have to get breakfast at the hotel. We could have got breakfast burritos
I still feel like we went with
and
the
like
better
muffins
choice.
and all sorts of stuff.
We got to sit down. I mean,
No, we did
yeah.
for sure. But I'm just
Well,
like,
and then the other thing
it
is
just blew
that
my
there
mind
was right away a
that I
little
was-
sampling cups because they were pouring a whole bunch of random beers, and I didn't even include that. So I sampled over 100 beers in 2 days because I didn't even include those in there. Getting to see the award ceremony was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. It was cool to see everybody cheering, especially if it was from a state they were from or if they actually knew the brewery, and there was people in other sections cheering for other breweries. Like, it was cool to see. We got to see some hometown places. I had it pulled up originally. I don't know how many Illinois got, but if I'm not mistaken, didn't the most go to Texas or Colorado?
Texas got a lot. I would say Colorado, maybe even California. I felt like kept
Good
it
call.
close.
Those are at least the top. Those are at least the top 3, right? Colorado, Texas, and California, I think.
Maybe Oregon, but yeah, I would say that you're probably safe with that bet.
Yeah, good call. I forget California did get a lot. There was a couple where it was like all California for
Well,
one
there was-
category.
There was those guys that were like, Southern California got a ton alone, and then there was those guys. God, what were they like? North Beach or something? They were like right in front, like to the front right of us. They ended up winning one of the like smaller Brew of the Year awards.
That's right.
And they kept winning. It
Yeah.
was just like, and he had like checkered pants on or something. That's all I remember.
Well, how about what was it? Is it 0 to 150 or 250 barrels that double clutch won? Our friends at Double Clutch in Evanston. Yeah. Shout out to them. Congratulations. They fucking deserve it, and they also won. I won 2 medals for beers as well. Yeah, there it is.
0 to
0 to 250, and they also won. I think you scroll on that picture, Dan, you're showing on Instagram. It might show the beers
Yeah.
what they won for.
Silver for smoked
Yeah.
beer, but I don't know which beer it was without looking
That's
at
all right,
the
yeah.
thing. And then also a silver for Munich style Helles.
Not bad considering those guys opened up during a pandemic.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you guys followed us, go back and listen to that episode. It was very cool. That place rules, and their beers are awesome. It's the one brewery that Brandon and I have stuck around after recording and drank pretty much everything. Between the two of us, drank everything on the menu. They're great German styles, well done beers in a super awesome location with good food to go and check out. So congratulations to them.
I did go there. I wasn't with you guys when you recorded, but I did go there before that, and I distinctly remember talking to like the taproom manager, and they just tapped their Grzycki, which wasn't the one that won.
No,
They
but that
tapped
beer
their
is
Grzycki.
awesome. I mean, it's not awesome,
Yeah,
but
he was
it's a
like-
cool beer because it's Polish style. It's table beer, basically, right? Isn't that what a Grzycki is?
Yeah,
It's slightly smoked.
Yeah, it's like super clear. He came up to me and he was like, "Hey, like we just tapped our Grzycki. I want to see what you think about it." And like brought it to me.
Nice.
And I was like, "Yeah." So it was a cool experience.
I will
Good
say
matches.
that Illinois overall won 10 medals at the Great American Beer Festival.
Yeah, Maplewood won for was it-
Gold for Fat Pug.
Yeah, and
And speaking of Maplewood,
hey, there he is. He's drinking
Hey.
Pulaski.
I'm
Pils.
drinking Pulaski Pills.
Nice, Brandon. What are you drinking while we do this?
I'm drinking Olerving's Della because I haven't had that.
Hey, and
Former winner,
Yep.
right?
I'm drinking Sam Adams Oktoberfest
Ooh,
because why not?
why
It's
not?
my last can. It's my last can, and Oktoberfest is technically over. But whatever. Still drinking. So jumping along here. So that was cool, and we headed straight into the fest. Brandon did a cool hyperlapse that I don't think we posted yet, so you'll see that soon. That was super
this
cool.
week.
Yep. Also shout out, by the way, to Pollyanna for what is the name of that beer?
The Big Lebowski or something?
No, lemony.
Full Monty.
Fullamonte. Yeah,
Fullamonte. I knew it was an L. My bad.
Yeah, where they said jokingly they have to explain to people that there is no lemon in that beer. It was really good. I do like that beer. I grabbed that randomly from my local Jewel when they decided to start carrying craft beer finally. That's a great beer. So
I had that
was
at
really
the fest, along with their Humpenskrump, I want to say. I got the beer.
Sure, you can say it.
And the Humpenskrump, maybe. And the woman was like, "You've been scrumped." And I was like, "Did you say that because you didn't want to say I've been humped?" Like,
The scrump sounds better though.
Yeah.
I think that makes more sense.
but
there was a couple
good beers.
Sorry. Yeah. The definitely tasty. So shout out to them as well. So I'm gonna jump up a little bit because we did go to. We stopped at Odell. We did go to Pollyanna. We went back to Lost Abbey where I had Noble Tendencies, which I really liked. That I don't remember if you guys remember what you had at Lost Abbey again.
Carnival.
That's right.
That second time.
In my notes, it says Precious, but I know it's supposed to be Precarious Brewing because I can't spell. I had 2 beers from them. I had Kung Fu Kittens, and then I also had, Dan?
Polar Bear's Toenails.
Cooler than Polar Bear's Toenails, which apparently is the full. Oh, no, actually, no, sorry. They have 2. They have one that's just called Cooler Than Polar Bear's Toenails, and then Polar Bear's Toenails.
We had Polar Bear's
Correct.
Toenails, which is a reference to...
Podcast. Which you had to remind me of, because I was like, that's a terrible name for a beer. That sounds disgusting. Like it's a fucking Outcast reference. My bad. Hip hop brain wasn't ticking that time. So that was also very good. Then this was also, I felt like a time where we were trying to just try random stuff. The next place I went to was Snake River, where I had their Zonker Stout, which was, if I'm not mistaken,
I had that too.
kind of I think it's a dry Irish stout, and if it's not a dry Irish stout, it was a very traditional old school stout that was just roasty. It wasn't super sweet. It wasn't super bitter. It was really, really good. I really liked that beer. That was like reminiscent of like me trying my first stout ever and being like, holy cow, beers can be something else. Now, I'm going to say this. You guys did not meet the call and go visit Shorts.
I did not.
I did. I felt like I owed it to Shorts.
Was I still online at Snake River? I think I was. And you ran over
Yeah,
to
I said I'm gonna go to Shorts, and you guys were gonna go to Snake River.
Yeah, I got the Serpent Charisse at Snake River.
How is that?
Cherry beer. I liked it. But again, it's up my alley.
I'm looking up the beer that I had from Shorts because I wrote it. Yeah, there it is. I did write it right. Okay. The beer I had from Shorts was interesting because I didn't know that they made hazy IPAs at all. Just my memory doesn't serve me that. So I've never thought that they would have it. This is actually, if I'm looking at this correctly, a triple double dry hop IPA. Or sorry, a double dry hop IPA. I think it's a triple IPA that's double dry hopped. It's called Chugasus, and I was drawn to it because there is a Pegasus with a gold chain and sunglasses on a skateboard and very bright colored label. So I chose that. It was really good. And I think that when it comes time for us to go back and maybe do a shorts episode, that we should focus more on standard beers from them
100%.
and maybe sneak in a couple of the crazy ones, because they did have their Moscow Mule inspired beer, which, did we have that on the episode? I don't remember if we did. I don't think we did.
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so. But I like.
If I'm not
Moscow
mistaken,
Mules.
I think Clark and I got that. We really liked it. So that was one that I was going to try, but I know that I already had it. Another one, we went to Wayfinder to try Original Cold IPA. We all tried that one. Am I correct?
I think, didn't you get
I got
the birthday
birthday.
one? Like a collab with
I got the
Firestone?
birthday.
Okay, I knew somebody did.
Original cold
Yeah.
IPA was fucking awesome. There was another cold IPA that we had on Friday that I can't remember what it was, but cold IPAs are delicious. I love them.
Yeah,
I love them very much.
Because right after Wayfinder, at least what I have on my list is I tried the Sam Adams Just the Haze.
Yes, which I was about to say as well. Which surprisingly, Dan, what did you think of Just the Haze? Because I know what Brandon and I think about it.
I thought it was pretty good, but I mean, it's kind of like, so we tried a lot of non-alcoholic beers just for the
Yeah.
fun of it, and
I wanted to find one that I loved.
they all kind of were like just missing something to me, except for the sour from Athletic, which, I mean, a sour maybe kind of hit it, but like I had that Just the Haze, and I also had a Lakefront, their Amber or something.
Oh
like
yeah,
that
that's
was
right. Yeah,
non-alcoholic.
I was the Amber. Was the Amber?
Um,
Oh, you said it was a little aqueous, right?
Yeah, it was just a little aqueous, kind of lacking a little body.
I feel like that is
The MO.
what yeah, that's the what's missing from all non-alcoholic beers. But Just the Haze was, to me, really good.
was good, yeah.
It was like a nice carbonated
It went gold.
orange juice. Yeah, I mean, and honestly, and I mean that in a complimentary way, not like, oh, I want orange juice, so I'm going to get Just the Haze. But for a hazy non-alcoholic beer, that was really tasty. Before we move on, Dan, why don't you roll us?
Yeah,
into some
so
here?
well, I was gonna say, so one of the beers that really stuck out to me for the entire festival was the 305 Alive Pineberry by Peculiar Ales, which is out of Windsor, Colorado.
That was awesome.
And it was, and I'm trying to like, I just looked it up a second ago so I could find it. What's a pineberry? I don't know. The newest 305 takes inspiration from the oldest version of the strawberry, the pineberry. So it's a strawberry. Loads of strawberry and pineapple remind you that a rollable fruit snack. Yeah, it was very delicious. It was a sour beer. And that was a recommendation from Craig from ABV Chicago, who I've known for, I don't know, it's got to be for 8 years now in Chicago. Yeah, he does a podcast, ABV Chicago, but we got to interview him as well. So we'll set that up. But I think all of us got to try this beer, and it was definitely one of the most like, wow, this is a really good beer to me, that kind of broke it up, even though we were having so much fun.
All right, so we're at GBABF still, and we have Craig from ABV Chicago. Craig, what's been your take on GABF this year?
Smaller space. It feels more crowded. I see more lines, and it's really concerning because like I need Moses to help to get through the WeldWorks line. I was like, if they just hire Moses to get people across, because it's bad. It's like the Utopias line. That's a brick. If you're going over there, just don't. But yeah, there are like more spaces like where we're at right now is like breathing room. But if you go into the pits over here, it's packed.
I like that you call it the pits
Oh,
because it's like going to a concert.
If you go to the wrong location at the wrong time, you're like, nope, can't get through. Sorry, gotta walk all the way around.
what has been some of your favorite beers that you've had tonight? Or not today. This
Peculiar Ales. They had a pineberry sour, I think it is. Delicious. I keep going back to it and going back to it. Third Eye. Apparently the brewer was from Brink. And they won a lot of medals a long time ago, and he's at this brewery now. And apparently, we interviewed him earlier, and I didn't even remember it, and interviewed him again.
That happens.
They had outstanding pumpkin beer, so I thought it was good. Everybody here didn't like the lactose. I thought it cut out the pumpkin spice very nice. WeldWorks, obviously, even the boba. They were putting boba capsules in it. That kicks fast though, because people like gimmicks like that. Yeah. But it was good. With the boba, obviously the meat ochos are great. Hen House had a great booth. Saison's, a Dortmunder, a classic stout from like 2000, so roasty and not very sweet, thank God. I'm trying to think of anything else I had. Forbidden Root had a porter with chocolate, 7.1%. Totally drinkable. You get all the flavors, and it wasn't too bad.
We gotta go there. I love porters, man. I think porters and brown ales to me are like so underrated. I love them all.
Did you go to Denton County Brewing?
No.
They had a barrel aged brown ale. I don't know if it's still there though.
Barrel-aged
Yes,
brown ale. Ooh.
it was good, very good.
All right, Denton. Okay.
And I don't know if Denton still. They had the milkshake IPA, barrel aged milkshake IPA. I don't know if it's still there though.
That sounds like an interesting. What do you think of the barrel aged milkshake?
It's good.
Yeah.
It did not taste like an IPA.
It was off the menu item.
Yeah.
Oh, right on. All right,
I know somebody.
Kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I talked to people.
Right on. I'm trying to think what else. I don't want to ask you what you didn't like, because I don't like throwing anybody under the bus. Was there anything you didn't like? You can say the beer and maybe not the brewery if you want.
Most of the things that I would say I wouldn't like were at the rare beer tasting, just because they were so high in alcohol and they gave me too much. Well, there was a 20% barley wine,
Jesus.
and the person pouring, I'm like, just give me a little, half the glass. I'm like, I am not fucking finishing this. It's okay. I gotta dump all this. I'm sorry, because 20% I can't handle.
that's
And then I took one sip of the 28% Utopias.
Yeah.
Like, that's enough. I'm getting the table beer. But yeah, those were just because they were so extreme. That was the only thing. But here, most of the things, I kind of hone in on the things I like, so I know what I'm getting. So
More hits than misses.
yes. Oh, Malort. Sorry, Malort was the worst thing I had. 2 days. 2 days in a row, I had a fucking shot of Malort. So
Hey, man, that's your choice.
first one was, and second one I was doing it with the Denton County because they were from one of the guys from Chicago. Apparently, Denton's the second most per capita Malort consumer.
Really?
So I'm like, what? Okay. I don't know if that's true or not, but we're gonna find out.
Just the one guy from Chicago.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where
Sucks.
the Malort comes from.
Yep.
Sucks for Denton.
Yeah. They're like, we see Malort at all the bars. I'm like,
Sucks
no
for
good,
you.
no good.
Greg, thanks a lot, man, for joining us.
Not a problem.
Appreciate it. It's been nice hanging out with you.
Yeah, it's been great.
2 days. It's been fun.
Yeah, otherwise I've been wandering around alone, and that usually means I'm drunk. Well, have another one.
That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, that's why I'm
Too
on,
early for me to feel the way I am.
That's why I'm on water.
Good idea.
Like, water's great.
Yeah, water sounds good. Now let's go to Denton so I can see if they have barrel-aged brown ale.
Yeah.
We actually spent a lot of time with Craig. Dan, thank you for introducing us to Craig.
Yeah,
That was a
man.
lot of
And
fun.
I guess I never asked, like, did you know him outside of the podcast as well?
No, so when I moved to Chicago in 2012 is when I like really, so I kind of got into craft beer in Florida, but that's like when I really dove in. And I just remember searching like beer podcast Chicago, and ABV Chicago came up, and so I met Ryan and Craig through that, and just was like going to all their anniversary parties and all that. So I met him through their podcast, but
Like, met him personally. You met him. Like, you knew him.
yeah, I mean we've known
Yeah,
each
yeah.
other since like I don't know.
Yeah, that was my question.
2014
Like,
or something.
you knew him outside of the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
That's why he asked, do you know him outside of the podcast?
I thought you meant, did you know him before he did his podcast? I didn't
No.
know. Yeah, no. But yeah,
No, but
mean, we even took a trip. We took a trip to Transient. Like we drove to Transient together in Michigan.
So you that kind of know him. All right. Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know it was at that level. Okay.
Hey man, that's like me and Clark level. Wow. Is Craig your Clark?
Well, I've never stayed at his house, so no. And I didn't get fired by him either. So
Yeah. All right, so I'll let you get out. Follow us on Instagram this weekend. All right, check it out because I'm sure there's a Transient post because Clark and I have already gone up there at this point. The next place we ended up going to was Modern Times. RIP Fellowship Azul was not there. But we did try Monsters Park Espresso Macaroon. We all tried that, didn't we?
yeah,
Or did it just me? What'd you guys think of that one?
I didn't like it. It was too sweet for me, but I mean, personal preference.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
I'm deep down a pastry boy.
I thought I knew like the pour that I had was really good, and I felt like if I had like a 5-ounce pour, that would have been like just the limit.
I'd also like to point out that we had different glasses than everybody else at the festival, and I feel like the way our glasses were shaped, like they filled it up to like just to where like it was like indented and came up.
Yeah.
I feel like we got less pours than everybody, like less amount, which I think makes sense. Media or someone working there.
I mean, it's funny because I thought like there was maybe that's the case in terms of like people who were following the rules or whatever, but at the same time, there was multiple times where I saw people like look that I had a badge, and then like look up at me and like. It was almost like they like gave me more attention in a way. Like if they were
There were some that did that as well.
Yeah.
But I will say on Saturday, the volunteer pourers were not doing that. I specifically headed over to Brandon and I headed over to Old Irving at one point to try and meet up with Matt because I wanted a little bit more of Till Death and I wanted a nice full pour of that. But I just got a little sample. I'm like, I don't really need a sample of that. It's a great Pilsner, but I wanted a palate cleanser.
Shout out to Trevor's wedding.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. That's such a cool label, too, man. I fucking love that. We also ended up over at Upslope where I had 2 barrel-aged beers, a vanilla cinnamon stout and then just their barrel-aged imperial stout. That was 18%. it did not taste like it was 18%. That is where I think I hit the wall of I need to slow down.
Whereas
Yes.
I went with the barrel-aged wild ale with chamomile, so I was crisp
Yeah.
and cool.
Because I remember I told you, I said, "Hey, look, Dan, that beer's got chamomile. I think you'd be into it." And you go, "I would be into it," and you beelined over there. And then when I walked up there to Upslope, and I was like, "I'll take your bourbon barrel aged imperial stout." And then she took my glass, and I looked up at the sign, and I specifically said, "Holy shit!" And she goes, "What's wrong?" I was like, "It's an 18% beer," and she goes, "Is that a problem?" I'm like, "No, but I'm just shocked." And she poured it, and that was great. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of a sneaky one that I knew nothing about Upslope. I know of the brewery, but I don't think I've ever had anything from Upslope. And those two beers were really good. I mean, two barrel-aged stouts that tasted really good, especially the vanilla cinnamon. Like, that really popped. Like, the vanilla, I love vanilla in stouts. And as you know, Brandon and I love cinnamon in stouts. And that was like a really good balance. So that was awesome. Did you guys try anything from Full Circle? I think that was one of the, when we were walking someplace else, I stopped over at Full Circle and got, you guys went someplace else. I grabbed Pie of the Tiger Apricot, which I told you, Dan, and you said gross because it was a milkshake IPA.
Yeah, I did say gross. Sounds like
Milkshake IPAs are not my jam. I didn't know that at the time, but it was really good. It was a nice blend of fruit and vanilla without it being like, ugh.
So I was just looking. Is that when
That
I
makes
maybe
sense.
went to Fremont? I know we all went to Fremont.
Yes, I went to Fremont right after because Brandon and I were trying to figure out what beer that he had.
I
Because
think
I
I
had
was
Rusty
in
Nail.
line when you went over
I had Rusty
there.
Nail. Yes,
I
and
had
I met
Brew
you guys after.
6000, and it was I think it was a barrel-aged barley wine.
and before that though, before Fremont, I grabbed Funkworks Wild Number 2.
Which
With-
I had on Friday and was
You did.
phenomenal.
Yeah, you raved about.
I missed
that,
out on
so
that.
I was like, I gotta try that, so I did that, and then I got Funkworks. I don't know what I had because I wrote bourbon barrel aged, and that's really all I wrote. So I don't know if there was more. I have to look at like what they had to see.
From Funkworks?
No. From Fremont,
From Fremont.
because
Oh, so they
Funkworks
had
had a Wild Number 2, and then I had
You guys-
bourbon barrel aged beer from them.
From
you guys had Rusty, I
Fremont.
think you both
from
had
Fremont.
Rusty Nail.
Yes,
Because they were
we both
out
had
of-
Rusty Nail.
Probably, yeah.
They were out of the
We-
bourbon barrel-aged Dark Star, which is like their hyped up
That
stout.
has like coconut in it, right, or something?
Coconut, yeah. They like sent them the wrong keg, so they were like replacing it, and we never got back there. But I think you guys both had Rusty Nail.
We did. There was a long discussion. We were trying to figure out. We sampled each other's beer, and we thought maybe there was a difference, and then we realized
Yep.
there wasn't a difference.
Short,
That was
short story. I think was it day one when you were saying, Tony, you met up with Matt from Old Irving? Yeah, because you went over there, and you said there was a chance that some of their kegs got switched, and they were pouring an
Yes.
Oktoberfest, and they didn't.
Yeah, and I think Oktoberfest ended up probably getting poured. We'll have to check with Matt because it wasn't there when we were there Saturday. Did that first session, so I wonder if it got poured during the second session. So, hey, you guys, sorry, you got some.
No, so Rusty Nail begins as the first nail, which is an oatmeal stout they make, and then it spends 15 months in a 12-year bourbon barrel to become Rusty Nail.
I like that.
Ooh.
It was really good.
As long as there's not
I really
rusty nails
enjoyed
in
it.
there, that's cool.
Yeah. So I know this is a super long episode, so just real quick, we're gonna take a very, very short break. Mainly because I'm thirsty, you guys. I'm gonna have one more beer while we do this, but quick break, quick little musical interlude, and then we'll wrap this up with like the final 20-30 minutes of this fucking 2-hour episode, probably. We'll be right back. We ended up, I know Brandon and I don't think you did, Dan. We ended up at Brooklyn Brewery again. You didn't have Black Ops, right? Brandon
No,
and I got some
I-
2019 Black Ops, which was also very,
And
very
I
that's
tasty.
also
Brandon
got
got
my
that pig.
got my picture of Gary, and because I asked him, I was like, "Hey,
Gary.
can I get a picture? I said,
Gary.
can I get a picture with you?" He goes, "You better."
Gary.
I was like, "All right."
Oh god, that's funny. Yeah, that was awesome to try. Now we ended up at Athletic Brewery as well. We talked about that briefly. We touched on it. Thanks, Dan. I'm glad you still laugh. Tropical sour. So I've had Athletic Brewing's hazy IPA and regular IPA. Both were pretty good, but again, aqueous, like you say, Dan. It is. It's just kind of light. And the tropical sour was really, really good. Like it was a like. How would you guys describe it? I don't want to say like a tart fruit punch because it wasn't like a fruit punch, but it was like a nice tart, almost refreshing, like carbonated juice.
Yeah.
Without it being like super sweet. Like I want to be able to find that here in Chicago because as far as non-alcoholic beers go, I would drink that over everything else, just because it's a more flavorful carbonated drink.
Yeah, and so I mean, I go for a lot of sours, but I'm not into like the overly fruited sours, which that kind of more was like in line with that style. But it was like I mean, if you gave it to me blind, I don't know if I'd be able to be like, oh yeah, this is a non-alcoholic one. Versus
Absolutely.
if you gave me like some of the other ones we had, I'd be like, oh yeah, you can tell this is a non-alcoholic one.
Yeah, and just to correct ourselves, it's Garrett is the head brewer from.
I just assumed
Correct
you guys
you.
were on like
Yeah.
pet name
No,
basis
no.
or something.
Yeah. We were laughing at Gary. We know it's Garrett. That was funny though. So that was cool. Allagash. We stopped over at Allagash because we wanted to make sure. Have you guys ever heard of Allagash White before?
I've heard of.
Did that win?
Yeah,
They won gold.
that's fucking standard, man. That's why everybody cheered in the auditorium when they won gold because that is the fucking standard for a Belgian wit beer. Like that is
American Belgian wood beer.
Thank you. Sorry, American Belgian wit beer. But like that's like the standard. That is like if you're brewing that beer, I feel like that's what you want it to taste like. So for them to win gold, that made sense. But I had Cool Ship Resurgam.
Same.
What was that beer? I don't really remember. I just remember liking it. I remember turning to you, Danny, and be like, "This is good,"
Yeah, I knew I wanted to try it.
because you saw Cool Ship in the name, and you're like, "I want
Well,
that."
I knew they have the Cool
Yeah.
Ship series.
Yeah.
Cool Ship Resurgam is a blend of both old and young, unfruited, spontaneous beer. The name comes from the motto of our fair city, Portland, Maine. It means "I shall rise again." Cool Ship Resurgam won a silver medal at 2010 GABF. Yeah, very delicious beer. Spontaneous, I'm in.
I feel like this is also we're getting around the point where at this time, this is where you and Craig went off, and Brandon and I went off because at this point, Brandon and I also stopped over at Avery. Brandon, what did you got? Avery, welcome back, GABF, correct?
I did,
And that was
as well
was
as
that a-
Rumpkin.
Yeah, I had Rumpkin as well. I only had one thing. I needed to have Rumpkin, man. That's where it's at. It was awesome to have that. I also went back over to. See, this is why I think we got separated because I'm pretty sure that we headed back towards where karaoke was, and I ended up back at Rev where I had more Coconut Death, which just
Yeah,
loved it.
I got
beer.
the Welcome Back GABF because it was a barrel aged quadruple Belgian.
That's your jam right there, man. That is you in a nutshell. If I had to
Oh,
think
no,
of it.
no, it wasn't barrel aged. It was just a Belgian quadruple, and that
It wasn't barrel aged?
No. Nope. But it was still 16.9%.
Oh, jeez, that's
According to
pretty good for
Untapped, it was not barrel aged, but
I thought it was.
fucking
Do you remember at that point, Dan?
It does say it's a rum barrel aged quintuple.
Yeah, I thought it was rum
maybe it
barrel
is.
aged.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Untapped is wrong then because I thought there was
fuck
some. Oh yeah,
Untapped?
yeah. No, it does. A rum barrel aged quintuple, a big boy is what it says.
Brandon, we're gonna get you glasses. I swear to God.
No, I didn't read the bottom part.
Oh yeah,
it, like,
that's right. 'Cause
the-
at the top it just says
The actual
it says
beer thing says Belgian
The style.
quadruple.
Which,
Yeah, they don't-
I mean,
yeah,
but
they
it's a
don't put barrel aged
quintuple, so it's not even a quad. It's a 5.
Well, it's 16.9%.
Yeah.
It was. I remember it being very syrupy,
I
like
can
very,
imagine.
very
fucking
thick.
quintuple. I mean, a quad.
But it
is
was good.
basically a
I mean,
barley wine.
I love Belgian beers, and I love like the styles that you can do with that. And I can't say that I've had like tons of barrel aged Belgian beers, but that was awesome. That was a good beer.
It's fun. It's funny doing episodes with you guys because I'm learning. I think I've learned like clearly what you guys like the most as far as like your styles. Like Brandon, you're a Belgian beer guy, hands down.
My my resolution in the Maltese was drink more Belgians. So that was
There you go.
particularly why I drank that. So
I don't remember what my resolution was. Probably to just brew more, which I
need-
brewed way less.
you
So I
failed.
want to make I'm going to open this with Brandon, but I have the Revolution 4th year beer, which is pretty old by now, but it's their quad that they brewed for their 4th anniversary.
I mean, that sounds like a good after the final pour. I was gonna say with we really have like a setup here of like all of us grabbing one beer of the style that like we like the most, and we can really just do an episode based on that. How's that, huh? Think about it. Think about it.
Think about
We
it,
always-
Clark.
Yeah, Clark, start thinking about what your favorite style is. IPA boy. That might be true.
I wonder which hot butcher we're going to get.
Okay,
Ooh.
take it easy. Take it easy.
Actually, it'll
like it.
probably
I
be
like
a beer.
It might just be Antihero, or it could be his number like 5 overall, like 5 rating, top beer, Gate Crasher, English IPA
Oh, yeah.
from Temperance,
Yep.
which I think I'd like to go back and try. It's been a while since I've had it. So there's a whole bunch of so there's the 305 Alive Pineberry Ale from Peculiar. That's on my list, following some other beers. So Brandon and I at this point we have separated from Dan and Craig. We've just gone off because I decided I wanted to sign up for karaoke. Wanted to do it, and I did it. Felt real good about it. But I was also told that there was like a dozen people in front of us. So I said, okay, let's go and walk around. So Brandon and I, number one, we got some Yasso frozen yogurt birthday cake ice cream bar, which was delicious.
Free.
Yeah, and free. All their frozen yogurt stuff is good. If we can ever have a food sponsor, I will take them because frozen Greek yogurt
Dan's
is
Googling
delicious.
it right now. He's looking it up.
No, he's texting me saying, stop talking about frozen yogurt. So Brandon and I got a chance to hang out over at Weldworks before everything started blowing. Like, there was no super long lines. What I have written down for what I got to try is I don't know if everybody knows, we are in a Zoom, and Brandon's now typing in the Zoom. Brandon, do you remember what you tried from Weldworks? Otra Noche? Was that
Yeah.
what you got to try?
Ocha Notre.
I don't know how to pronounce this, but it was a coffee coconut beer. Media Noche?
Media Noche.
Media
Yeah.
Noche. I got to try that. I tried your Otra Noche and then the 2022 Noche. So, where I thought what was the brewery on Friday night, Dan? Kane?
Kane.
The hype over Weldworks over the year. I mean, they had different type of juicy, I think cryo juicy bits, and all these other, like, I've had juicy bits before and it's really good, but the coffee coconut Media Noche is in the running for the Maltese, and that was by far probably my favorite beer of the festival.
Weldworks nails adjuncts for sure.
100%. And that beer was so good. I think I even text Clark saying, I just had this beer that is probably the best beer of the fest for me.
And Weldworks is out of Greeley, Colorado. Just throwing that out there. For anyone else wondering.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
I tried the Otra
yeah,
Noche.
please. Yeah. I was gonna say, what during that time, you and Craig were off wandering. What did you guys get to try?
So I
Anything
tried
that you remember?
I do remember trying the Otra Noche, and I also tried the Starry Noche from.
That had already been blown by the time we got there.
Yeah, I tried both of those. We were just like, I don't even remember everything we tried. We like went over to Peculiar Ales again, and I was trying to get this necklace from them, but they were out that like held your tasting glass.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah, didn't you ask, like, why aren't we getting one of those?
Yeah, I was like, where the hell did you get that? And then I was hanging out. I'm trying to remember his name. I'm looking for him on Instagram because I just followed him and I can't find him. I think his name was Brian.
Was that who you were with when we met up with you? And it was you, Craig, and then a couple? were standing
No,
there?
no. So that was a different guy. I'll get to that in 1 second. But this was the head brewer of Forbidden Root. I think his name was Brian. We were hanging out with for a while. You guys were gone. I was like texting you guys like, "Hey, are you still waiting?" Because it had been like, I felt like it had been like an hour or something.
It was
Yeah,
almost
we had
an
a-
hour.
Yeah, we had to wait for a while. It was worth it
Yeah.
though, Dan. If
No,
you
I
watch
saw
the
the
video,
I saw the video.
so-
It was
Did you?
totally worth it.
thanks. Oh, that's
By
right. I
the
went back to
way,
the
We
hotel.
watched it at the hotel.
I put on like a '90s alternative playlist at the house the other morning, and that song came on. I don't want to spoil it, but Sam was like, "I hate this song."
So, funnily enough, we were listening to Beck and I. Were driving-
hate my version?
Beck and I were driving today, and Four Non-Blondes, that song came on, and I was like, "Oh, it's what Tony's saying." And Becca was like, she goes, "Why do I keep thinking this is Melissa Etheridge?" And I'm like, "It's not." So she like Googled it, and then she goes, "Wait, Melissa Etheridge covered the song before." I'm like, "Well, yeah, but this is
What?
not."
I didn't know that.
Yeah, apparently she found a cover from Melissa Etheridge.
What's going on?
I want to hear that Melissa Etheridge coverage. Shit.
What's
coverage. Yeah, what is up? So one of the other beers, I think this was. I don't know if what were you saying?
I was gonna say we another one we did try when we were out. It was an off the menu one, and I'm trying to Denton Brewing. They were out of Texas. We got to try a barrel aged milkshake IPA. Which
I think
spoiler
you told us
alert,
about it. Yeah,
I did not like it.
yeah. It's not a spoiler,
But it was
It's
just like-
fucking obvious.
And barrel aged, barrel aged milkshake IPA. Who even knew that was a thing?
One of the other breweries that we got to try, I think this is this is either right after or right before I sang, was from no, this is right after Figueroa. How do you
Yeah,
pronounce
I didn't
that?
go with you guys for that.
Fig Mountain Mosaic IPA. That, as far as IPAs go, other than a cold IPA, that was my favorite IPA of the festival. I love Mosaic hops. I know some people do not like Mosaic hops. They get like a soapiness from it, kind of like when you have cilantro. But that was really good. Like that was like an IPA that I could drink all the time. And then Dan, you turned us on to going back to Corporate Ladder to have the DB Tiki Sour Zombie. Because
Yeah,
you said it tasted like a naked juice.
a naked juice, which I don't even know if they make that anymore, but it's like just straight.
I think so.
So you couldn't taste. Yeah, you couldn't taste any alcohol. It wasn't like too sweet.
What was the ABV on it?
I'm trying to look it up again.
I think it was like
11% or something.
11 or 12%.
Was it Imperial Tiki Sour?
Yeah, it was, dude, that was so good. Like, that's a fun beer to share with people. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't sit around and drink that, like, naked juice beer, but I would definitely, if I had that and we were at a bottle share, I'd be like, look, you guys got to try this. It'd be a fun way to, like, start or end a bottle share. You know what I mean?
So, double barrel Tiki Zombie is what that stands for, apparently.
That's what I
Imperial gluten-free sour aged in peach brandy and rum barrels and then conditioned on pineapple, grenadine, peach, apricot, passion fruit, and lime. And it's 11.25%.
I got to find that again. As far as odd beers go, that was my favorite odd beer of the fest. And I didn't really talk about, like, we didn't really try a whole bunch of odd beers, so it's hard to
I do have
put it
one
up
more
against
like
anything, but
otter
that
beer
was,
to shout out after we talk about this, but
like otter, like OTTER.
no,
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
DD.
Maris Otter.
So it
Otter.
does come in a bottle, it looks like it's like a clear bottle. I know, I'm showing,
Dude,
it has like a tiki face with the double
Ooh.
barrel.
Where are they?
It's like a
Where
clear-
are they out of? Where is
They're out of Florida.
Dan? Ooh, Dan. I mean, we've got.
Palmetto. I don't even
Where's
know.
Palmetto? That's a type of That's a flying roach.
No, a palmetto bug is, but a palmetto tree
Yeah.
is like a.
That's where those
Palm
bugs
tree.
live. I know. I'm just joking. Well, I'm pretty sure with you having ties to Florida and me having ties to Florida, we might be able to find that beer again.
Yeah, maybe. And my Google Maps are not loading. Sorry, that's why it's like stalling
Well, you have
right now.
you have an
Oh,
iPhone. It's understandable.
snap. It's actually right across the Skyway from St. Pete, so maybe I can find it.
Oh shit, we gotta go, baby, and get some of that.
We're all going to visit Dan's family.
I'm actually going to be there in like a couple weeks. I'll see what I can
You've
do.
got a you've got a mission now, Dan. If anything, grab something from Corporate Ladder.
Yeah.
I mean, Green Bench is right there
Them too.
Ugh.
Dan, we'll all throw in $5.
for another Florida show.
That's your budget. You get $5 from each of us, which is only $15. Good luck.
I was gonna say my other like Otter beer, ODDER for Tony.
Yeah, I got it.
BJ's Restaurant. Also, shout out to Florida because I used to go to BJ's
Yeah,
Restaurant.
I had a BJ's restaurant beer as well on here.
Yeah, so this is a shout out from Rachel. So I had the gin
The
barrel
cardamom
aged
coffee
saison.
porter.
Yeah,
Oh,
That's what you and I
I
had.
had the gin barrel aged saison on Friday. I didn't like it, but then we went back on Rachel's suggestion for the cardamom coffee porter, and that one kind of like
Yeah, that was
quietly
good.
was really good in like a weird way.
In a weird way, yeah. Is it odd? Yes, absolutely. I would say that for me personally, the tiki one being the most strange,
Obscure. Yeah.
just because it didn't drink like a beer at all. It
No.
was, I mean, that was crazy. We also got a chance to try. Brandon and I did Firestone. We had the coconut parabola, which I've never had before, and that was really good. I really like that. I love parabola, and the coconut was a really nice accent to it. But we also got to try their Boilermaker, and I don't have the description in front of me, but I do remember really enjoying it and turning to Brandon being like, "This is fucking awesome."
Yeah.
wait, from which
Did
brewery?
I go there? We got the
Firestone.
coconut parabola.
Oh, yeah.
I was kind of disappointed in the coconut parabola. I went there. I think
Really?
it was with Craig. I don't know if you guys were with us at that time.
No, I don't think we were.
No, because I remember I got the Boilermaker and Tony got the.
Yeah.
And then I also had Boilermaker as well and that one guy was standing in front of us hanging out like it was a fucking bar. Like, come on, guy. Wrap it up.
That happened to
this
us
is a fest.
at Allagash too. It was like 3 or 4 guys in like outfits that were just like standing there.
And I feel like Brandon and I also then separated from you because I know Brandon and I ended up over at Prost, where I had a delicious Vienna lager.
I had their Dunkel.
Big fan of Vienna lagers. And at this point, like, there were some other random beers, and nothing is, like, looking at what I have here, nothing really pops out other than Dry Dock's hazelnut barley wine, because that was kind of a weird beer. It was a good barley wine, but the hazelnut kind of came off as synthetic, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like
probably like
it wasn't like, and
not
I'm not,
hazelnut.
yeah, and I'm not saying that's how they did. I doubt that's how they flavored it. I'm sure they used hazelnut, but just however the recipe of that barley wine was with the hazelnut that they added in there. Maybe it was like a flavoring. I mean, the barley wine itself was good, but then there was like a weird hazelnut flavor. One brewery that we didn't mention, or I think maybe Dan, you did mention, was Tangled Roots. And it's kind of funny. Who is it that we were speaking to? Because I'm bad with names on this.
So if you're from Chicago area, you know Starved Rock, which is a state park here. Super cool waterfall.
Let's not say if you're from like.
If
It's
you're from,
surprising
like,
the amount of people that I know,
they know-
in
they know
Chicago
Starved
that
Rock.
don't know what Starved Rock is.
I would
well,
say more people in Illinois actually know
I
Starved
forget-
Rock.
No, I'm saying
I
there's a
work
lot of
in-
people I run into in Chicago that like. Well, yeah.
I work in
Illinois
environmental
general.
law, so most people I
Yeah,
know. Mike is the head brewer there, and I've talked to him when I've stopped by there on the way back home from Starved Rock, and I saw him when we were picking up our badges, and I just started chatting with him, and I was like, hey, we got to find this guy.
And also going to throw it out there, we saw him at Oscar Blues as well.
Yeah, we
But
did.
didn't-
He was
but we didn't say anything.
He was like following us.
I think so. I think he's
Wait,
like
was he at Oscar Blues?
Yeah.
He was. I think we had mentioned like we want to talk to you, so maybe he was following us. He's like, maybe now is a good time. Just
Yeah.
joking. Like,
Oh.
And they were sponsoring a booth at the festival, so they were like on an end cap with like a big old booth, and he was there pretty much the whole time. I saw him walk around like a little bit, just randomly, like out of the corner of my eye. I was like, oh yeah, there he goes. But yeah, he was pouring most of the time, so he was like super available to people and chatting with people. I know I got to Intercontinental Pilsner, Do you guys remember what you guys got? I think you guys got the hazies, didn't you?
I grabbed the hazy.
Yeah, and that's actually not on my list because I'm pretty sure I was so wrapped up in us doing the quick little interview with him because we grabbed
Same.
like some random beers towards the end where we did the quick live that is sideways on our Instagram, which is hilarious. I love it. It kind of sums up Saturday's feeling, to be honest.
Yeah.
So Mike was cool enough to do a short little interview with us,
And we put Dan on the spot and said, Dan, you asked the questions, so
about 2 seconds before.
here it is.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah, no problem. So we're here with Mike from Tangled Roots, and they're out of Ottawa, Illinois, and they have a couple different locations they've got going on. But you guys have a sponsored location here. How's everything been going? How's GBBF?
It's been great. You know, we've done this, I think, every year for the last, well, not the last 2 years because of COVID, but before that, I think the last 3. So we try to come out here every year and have a good time in Denver.
Has there been anything outside of your beers that you tried that you've really enjoyed while you've been here?
You know, I'll be a little bit of a Chicago person, but Unane had the Le Grand Monde is like a raspberry and habanero sour, which I was skeptical at first, but after I tasted it, I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good.
I have to stop by there. And you said, so you've been out here every time yourself?
Yeah.
You've been out here?
Yeah.
And how's Denver been? You guys been?
Denver's awesome. You know, there's a brewery on every corner, a lot of fun, a lot of good stuff. So, yeah.
So other than being here talking to you, we definitely would like to come to Tangled Roots and maybe come talk to you like one-on-one other than being here. But thanks for taking it. I mean, I know the session's almost wrapping up. You guys got one more session to go, right?
Yeah, one more to go. Almost there in the home stretch.
Have you been here since Wednesday? Or?
Yes.
I can't wait to go home.
I am looking forward to it, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
Well, so quick question though. So where can folks find Tangled Roots?
Yeah, so we actually, we just signed on with a distributor in Chicago. So literally on Monday, they started selling our beer. So like, it's only been less than a week, but you should start seeing us in Chicago. Other than that, we have the Ottawa location. We have a location in Lockport. We have one in DeKalb and one in Glenview.
And I know testing you. I know you said they all have different names. You know?
Yes, they sure do. So Lock and Mule in Lockport, Hangar 2 in Glenview, and Keg and Colonel in DeKalb, and then our flagship Ottawa location is called the Lone Buffalo.
And so you're the head brewer at Tangled Roots. Is there head brewers at the other locations, or?
No, so we only actually brew at 2 of the locations, the Ottawa one and the Lockport one, and we kind of just share resources.
I wanted to say with the Ottawa location, if you guys go to Starved Rock, it's like on the way back to the city. So it's a perfect stop.
Yeah, you might not want to stop there on the way to Starved Rock if you're going to go hiking.
Yeah. Good food too. We have food, so you know, good lunch spot. Yeah.
Awesome. So how long have you guys been open?
And I think this February it'll be 7 years, so a little bit of time. Yeah.
Well, thanks for taking a couple of minutes to talk to us, man. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for talking.
Dan, you're a fucking interviewing genius. I also, if I'm not mistaken, because we didn't actually listen to the interview.
Oh, wait,
I
hold on
think
a second. NBC's on the phone. Hold on. They're wanting me to be the Capitol Hill interviewer guy.
Okay, if that's the life you want. I'm pretty sure at one point during that interview, I was like, okay, so we're going to wrap it up. And then, Brandon, you had more questions, and I was like, oh, fuck, I fucked that up. I'm pretty sure that's how it went down. If not, I'm thinking of something else. Yeah, that was... I'm looking forward to going to Forbidden Roots and actually sitting down, trying some beers and talk. Because that was so late in the fest at that point, for me, I don't really
Tangled
remember...
Roots.
What did I say?
Not to be confused with Forbidden Root.
Oh, Forbidden! I said that. Oh man, I said that so many times.
Which they have other
Yeah.
locations. Which if you just listen to the
My
interview,
bad, my
Mike
bad.
talked about them, and there's like 3 or 4 other ones. Hangar
Yeah,
or
my
something.
bad. Tangled Roots.
Yeah, which Forbidden Root's super dope too. But
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, my bad. Sorry. It's my 3rd beer tonight, guys. Come on, after not drinking all week, working on this Blackhawks Pale Ale, and I got the day off. This is great. Yeah, that was super cool. I am looking forward to going there and talking. The very last beer that I had was a fest beer from Union Craft. That's the last beer that I was drinking. We did our quick little video, and that was it. That was the last beer that I had for the festival. Overall, I absolutely had a great time. I loved it. I think we have a better game plan for what we'd want to do next year, assuming that we're going next year. Brandon already has the hotel locked down. Thank you, Brandon. I also got a sweet hat from Old Irving. Thank you, Matt. I have my own
thank you,
Beezer hat
Matt. Look at my head.
Actually, we didn't even talk
Baron
about
of a
that.
hat.
We got to see Brandon and I ran into Trevor and Tim from Old Irving, and I got a can of Summer Krampus.
Dan got a can, apparently.
No, I've got it.
I gave it to him
Oh.
when I left the car.
Yeah, he gave it to me.
Should have gave it to me, Dan.
I think I'm gonna
Give it to
shotgun
me.
it. I think I'm gonna shotgun it tonight when we're done with this episode.
Better not.
I'm gonna do it after. I'm gonna do. Hey man, Tim gave it to me because I said I didn't get to try it.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of running into them, I think this is where you did run into them. But shout out to the porta potties in terms of not having to wait in any lines, really.
That
Dude,
is, we met a lot of cool people over there.
That's like the magical thing. Like you go out to the area, like so there's a smoker sign and then it says additional bathrooms this way. A lot of people ignore that and they just go wait in the lines. But if you go out there, dude, it's like
no, it's awesome.
2-minute wait at most. And dude, and the porta potties, I will give them, were super clean.
Absolutely.
Had
I
hand
went there
sanitizer
yeah.
in them, and I was
I
like,
went to them in the beginning of the fest. I went to them in the middle of the fest, and I went to them at the end of the fest. And at no point where I was like, I can't believe I'm touching all this.
Yeah, no,
Or,
it was
it
clean.
smells terrible. It was pretty.
that was
awesome.
clutch.
And real quick, not real quick, but after the fest, we ended up over at Biker Jim's, the sausage spot with Craig. That was a lot of fun. I feel like Brandon and I got hosed because we tried to order the PBR and shot for like $4.
Dan got hosed because they didn't have the vegan dog.
Yeah,
That's Dan's.
I
That's
had to
Dan's
live
fault.
off
Being a-
cauliflower and fried macaroni and cheese.
Dan and
which
I,
was good.
Brandon and I ordered something that was on the menu and didn't get it. We got hosed. You just didn't have anything to offer. You had a
The
replacement.
waitress that took your order said you didn't order it. So I mean,
She's like, oh, I just charge you for the beers. Well, then you don't know the menu, lady. Tony's rant for this episode. If that's all I got to rant about, it's not bad. Then we had up the one-up beer arcade, and that was there was a lot of tokens Brandon got.
Yeah.
Brandon, again, thanks for coming through in the clutch of making everything awesome. But yeah, I think
don't.
overall,
Hey, if you go to One Up, don't play the old school Ninja Turtle game because the
And-
attack
no,
button
play
doesn't
it.
work
for Michelangelo.
on Michelangelo.
Yeah.
Michelangelo does not
No,
work.
don't be Michelangelo.
Yeah. Also, Stranger Things pinball was not that fun. Neither was Rick and Morty.
I crushed it.
but-
I like quadrupled, quintupled, multiplied your score.
Oh, on Stranger Things, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I just was not that good. I forgot which one I was playing. That was a lot of fun. The Batman game was a lot of fun. Oh, and Brandon and I had fun on that giant Pac-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and then we had a basketball tournament where Dan thought he was the shit, and then I took down his
but
goddamn score.
we did watch like a guy who could have been Steph Curry if I would have squinted my eyes.
Well, yeah, Steph Curry, if you got a, like,
Yeah,
2
fucking
feet from
ringer.
a basketball hoop that's, like,
That was still
7 feet
ridiculous.
high.
That
No,
was
no,
so
it's absolutely-
ridiculous.
To put it in perspective, I
he
think
put it
I
in.
was at
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
I think I was at like 50 something. Tony was at like the low 60s. This kid was at like 125 or something.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
I was just watching the score. I'm like, wait, is it the score or the time? I can't tell.
Funny thing is that our final beer, not funny, but our final beer, kind of capping it off. We did a short video recap. We started with Dogfish Head and Sam Adams, and we ended it with I pointed it out at a liquor store that we stopped at. You, Dan, what beer did you bring home, Dan?
It was one of the Russian River Shun beers, but the Merlot version. I'm blanking on Intinction. No, that's not right. Is that right?
That's all right, man. Well, you don't have to get to specifics. You grabbed a beer, but I pointed out to Brandon. I go, why the hell is fucking 90-minute IPA in like a 19-ounce can?
Intinction is right.
Brandon bought it.
Yeah,
So-
so I do have to take that back. I was at Randy's Liquor over here. On they had the 90-minute, and I was like, and it was.
Oh,
I think
boy.
it was cheaper. It was like, I was like, It was like $2.50 or $3. I was like,
What are those
What?
brewers putting out these giant cans? I'm like what is it? One of the beer hugs that's 9.9%. You can get in those giant fucking cans.
I'm like,
and
the price
one of
on
the
that,
Voodoo
I'm like, holy
Rangers is
you got to have some
also-
friends for those tall boys.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, it's split between 3 people. That was our final beer of our trip to Denver, and everything worked out. Getting up in the morning, getting in the car, getting to the airport on time, having some breakfast strombolis instead of breakfast slices of pizza, and then we were back home by like 10:30. Man, that was a great trip. It was awesome. We have some ideas of how we want to approach it for next year because we got to go back. We're going to go back, and I think it's going to be around Oktoberfest time, so this way we can take Dan to the Oktoberfest street fair post festival.
There was like afterwards. I heard about like different events that happened, and I was like, man, that would have been cool. That would have been cool. In like different neighborhoods of Denver.
Yeah.
If we had more time, like we should have totally went to. But
I think overall we
did good for what time we had for sure.
We approached it the best way possible. Like, even I don't know how you guys felt. Like, Dan, I think you reached out to us later in the day. Like, I had a good day. I came home, I ate some food, I did some laundry, and I watched some TV. I had a nice, easy Sunday. You guys have little kids, so I don't know how that was.
Jeff Park Fall Festival.
I saw the pictures. I saw the pictures on Facebook, and I was like, that guy is not running on a lot of sleep and drank a lot this weekend, and he's fucking working it like a dad champ.
I felt good.
Yeah, I did that. What the Liquid IV and the what was the other one, Brandon again?
Happy Hour Vitamins.
I honestly feel like that, and we were pretty smart. Like we hit up the water stations. That was something we didn't mention. Was that there were the water stations that were there perfectly set up, and like slamming those little tasters of water actually did help out a lot.
Water station, and I was for sure anytime like all the booths had their water jugs that you could wash your glass out with. I was just drinking the washout stuff. Just so
there was a couple of those that I did as well. Yeah,
that water was not potable. So
most importantly, on Sunday, that kept me going. Arsenal beat Liverpool. Sorry, go on.
Anyways, can you mute Dan for the rest of the ending here? Great, thank you. Yeah. So overall,
Dan, you gotta unmute yourself. There you go.
For the organizers of
Dan, you're still
JBF,
muted.
Who cares? Who fucking cares? I'm giving the big send off.
It was intentional.
Nobody wants to hear from me anymore. Anyways, Dan. To the Brewers Association, all the organizers of the GABF and the American Homebrewers Association, thank you so much for having us at the festival. We had a great time. We hope we recap this pretty well for our longest episode ever at almost 2 hours. Maybe we'll separate it into 2 parts for Monday and Tuesday. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how we feel about this when it gets to the end of it. But it was a lot of fun. And I guarantee we're going to go back, whether it's part of the media package or just going because it's such a great experience. And it's a good time to try a whole bunch of beers. And this is why we do the podcast anyways. We do it because we get a chance to try and talk about beer. And beer is more than just, American-style lagers that you get at your store. There's so much more to it, and I feel like the award ceremony kind of showed that, how much people put into these beers and how much pride they have into this company and their brand and the beers that they're making.
And the connections that they have with each other. Like there was like so many
absolutely,
people you could see that were happy for their friends,
Yeah, the craft beer community, while it does have some of its faults, we got a chance to see it at its higher points. So it was super cool. And anybody who hasn't been to GABF and you love craft beer, this is a place to go to. So that's where I'll end it. That's my speech for the evening.
Yeah, it's a good experience. And I do want to recap about the awards festival that we didn't know that we were going to, that we got invited to. I was blown away by the amount of awards. But because of that, and we got in, I think at like category 5 is when we finally sat down.
Like a hurricane.
Yeah. But it was super cool just to be able to see like Double Clutch win some awards. And there were some other awards, I think, for Illinois breweries in the first 4 that we didn't witness.
Elmhurst Brewing, we got to see that I didn't know was a thing, and now I want to go and
Yep.
go to Elmhurst Brewing.
Yeah, but again, like super proud of Double Clutch and Scott Scott is just killing it. Like we talked to Scott on the podcast, and he's just a super down to earth guy that just loves brewing beer, and it was awesome to see him like receiving those awards. So shout out to them.
Yeah,
and
if
then
you guys haven't heard that episode, listen to it because you'll understand what Brandon's talking about.
Yep, we will splice it in this week in some of our posts, so you can kind of go back and relive. But yeah, Double Clutch is awesome, and then too like Maplewood, who we all love and adore, and like talk about, super cool to see them win. But yeah, the award ceremony, I feel like I wasn't expecting much. I was like, it's an award ceremony, but like going there and seeing that was pretty cool. So I'm glad we got to do that.
Dan, you got anything else you want to say before I keep mocking you on what you're doing in the video?
Thanks for inviting me on this trip with the podcast that you two do.
Dan. I swear to God, Dan. By the way, Dan's talking to everybody like I normally do, but Dan took those reins and saw a guy with a Phase 3 hoodie on and was like, yeah, these guys run a podcast. And I had to call him out in the plane and go, you're one of the hosts, man. Granted, Brandon and I get first dibs on everything. Which, by the way,
I just feel like you guys put a lot of sweat equity into it before I started, so I feel bad like being
don't.
Well, so I do appreciate that.
Yeah,
but you're as much a part of it now as we are. So,
except for some things that are coming up that we're going to tell you off the episode that Brandon and I are going to without you and Clark. Sorry, guys. You guys can buy tickets, but we have to take advantage of this. It's just me and Brandon. Anyway, so Brandon, I love you, man, and thank you again. Thank you for everything that you do for the show and everything that you did for this trip, man. This wouldn't have been as smooth without everything that you did. You laid the groundwork for all of this, and you were the first person to reach out and submit us for the media people. So, and thank you, JBF, of course. But dude, thank you so much. This wouldn't have happened without you, dude.
Yeah,
so,
and
Dan,
it was nice having somebody who's been there before, like, show us around.
Yeah, you know better than I do. And Dan, it was awesome to get a chance to, the three of us, just to kind of like hang out, because we normally, other than the bottle share, we really haven't had a chance. Like
birthday parties and
it was stuff like that. Yeah, we didn't get a chance to actually. We don't really have chances to hang out, so it was cool for all three of us to hang out and just be able to. Dan downs his last little sip. He's got to be at work in the morning. It was fun. It was fun, guys. I loved it, and it'd be great if Clark can join us next time. We're gonna force him. We're gonna kidnap him. I'm gonna talk to his wife and be like, "Look, I know it's hockey season, but we need Clark to come with us."
Well, it's a little earlier in September, so maybe we're good.
It's still baseball. No, hockey. I don't know whatever sport. He's a part of it. He's full on sports dad. So I know it'd be tough.
It's like my sister. Hockey never ends for them. So
yeah, that's what it sounds like for them. Yep. Anyways, Brandon, love you, buddy.
Love you too, bud.
Dan, love you, man.
Love you guys too.
Hey, all right. And thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, GABF and Brewers Association, American Homebrewers Association, all you guys. This was awesome. Thank you guys for sitting through this, whether it's a full episode or 2 parts. Thanks for keeping with us, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
This has been The Malting Hour. Be sure to follow us on all social media by searching The Malting Hour and at themaltinghour.com. You can also follow us individually on social media. Brandon can be found on Instagram as BMDub81, on Twitter, BDub81, and on Untapped as BDubDrinksBeer. Tony can be found on Instagram and Untapped under Asa Phelps Chicago, on Twitter, The Asa Phelps Chicago. Clark can be found as Clarkowski on all 3. Dan can be found on Instagram as hip__hops and hip hops on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, like, and rate the show on your preferred podcast listening platform. Until next time, cheers from all of us at The Malting Hour.